Hi, it's Pete Posner from Big Break English. So today we're going to talk about cleft sentences using it. Okay, so you can emphasize part of a sentence by making a cleft sentence, dividing one clause into two clauses. You can do this in the following way. In the first clause, use it plus a form of be, for example, is or was, plus the emphasize part, so the thing in the sentence that you want to emphasize, plus a relative pronoun like who, that, where, or when to introduce your second clause. Okay, let's take a look at some examples. Here are some examples on the topic of education. The teacher gives students the necessary tools for autonomous learning. Okay, so that's one clause. Now then, let's look at this in two clauses. So first, starting with it. So it is the teacher. So we've got it and then a form of be. And then the teacher is what we want to emphasize. That's the first clause. Then the second clause, we're going to use the relative pronoun who, because the teacher is a person. So who is the suitable pronoun here. And that introduces the second clause. So who gives the students the necessary tools for autonomous learning. And there we have two clauses. Let's look at a second example. Okay, so I enjoyed learning French the most at school. That's one clause. Now in two clauses, so it, form of be, it was French. French is what I want to emphasize here. That's the first clause. Second clause, relative pronoun that. So French is a thing, a subject. That I enjoyed learning the most at school. Two clauses. So our sentence altogether goes, it was French that I enjoyed learning the most at school. And a further example, in one clause, I learned how to think at university. In two clauses, okay, so it was at university where I learned how to think. And finally, the last example here, we have in one clause, I had a great time as a student. That's one clause. In two clauses, okay, so it was a student. Sorry, it was as a student. So what am I emphasizing? As a student, okay. How do I introduce, what word do I use to introduce the second clause? When. Okay, when I had a great time. Okay, so altogether, it was as a student when I had a great time. Okay, so I hope that was helpful and that you learned a little bit about how to use cleft sentences. See you next time.